Welcome back to the Overheard Podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Rudel. There is no Matty Rage with us today, unfortunately. He's a little bit under the weather, so we hope you're feeling better out there, bud. Our guest today is Adam Milliken, the lead man from HEYJACK, a feel-good rock band from Calgary, Alberta. How's the day going so far, Adam?
Great. Enjoyed a nice drive out to Banff with my kids. Sun is shining. And it was reminiscent of driving across Canada with them. We'll obviously get into a lot of that.
100%. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Good thing the roads were good. We've had some freakish storms this spring, and the road between Banff and Calgary has been a hectic one over the past few weeks.
Oh, they were clean.
Yeah, good to hear, good to hear. Before we get too far into things, if it is your first time joining us, please don't forget to like and subscribe. The number fluctuates crazily depending on who our guest is, but a whole bunch of people are joining us for the first time and don't like and subscribe. So if that's you, please do us a huge favor. Hit that button. Costs you nothing. Helps us bring you more episodes like this one. We're going to check back in with our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Drink Shaft. We'll be back with you in a few seconds.
Winter in Banff hits different. Cold air, frozen mornings, and that brief stillness before the day kicks off. Fuel your early starts with Drink Shaft, the non-alcoholic, all-natural espresso energy drink made for mountain days and the longer ones around the house or the office. Find Drink Shaft in over 1,000 stores across Western Canada. Grab one before you head out on your next adventure. Remember that seasons change, but Drink Shaft, it always stays the same.
All right, welcome back to the Overheard Podcast. Big thank you to Drink Shaft for this episode. If you've never met Adam, we're here with Adam today from the band HEYJACK, a band that's really been carving out a name for themselves with a sound inspired by artists like Jack Johnson, John Mayer, Bahamas, and Mount Joy. They blend feel-good melodic rock with storytelling that pulls from family history, personal experience, and a reconnection to Indigenous roots. These guys have been putting in serious work. They've shared the stage with Canadian legends such as Trooper, the Sam Roberts Band, the Sheepdogs, Kim Mitchell, and more, and have played some major events including Canada Day in Calgary, Whoop Up Days, Western Days, and the Canmore Folk Fest warm-up. In 2005 alone, they took their music across almost every province in the country, building a national presence and connecting with audiences coast to coast. Their debut EP, Aquarium, has already seen radio play not just across Canada, but internationally, and they've been featured on multiple podcasts, including spots on CBC. Now they're back in the studio working on a full-length album, which we'll dive into in a little bit. Whether it's a full band, high-energy show or a stripped-down acoustic set, HEYJACK brings people into the music and creates an experience that's all about being present and enjoying the moment. Adam, welcome to the show.
Damn, that's a heck of an intro. I got goosebumps. I'm like, wow. It's very nice to hear that and reminisce and sort of walk back through the journey it's been. So,
well, it is fitting. A little backstory on me and Adam. We actually met at the Canmore Folk Fest last year. We got to give a big shout out to Rocky Mountain Live for having us there on that one. What's been going on since then? I guess there's been lots going on.
Life has been lifing. My kids and I, we packed up. We toured across Canada. As you mentioned, we hit every province this year and got to share our music, which was like sort of pinch me moments. And there's some things like I want to talk about with this summer even that will be announced. And I'm like, oh, if you would have told the teenage version of myself that, I would have been like, wow. So some cool things have happened, big opportunities. But yeah, last year was like packing up and really just driving across Canada. My grandma grew up on the East Coast. We saw her childhood home. Her dad was from Newfoundland, which was the only province we didn't get to. So we will cross that off the list one day. But yeah, we'll get into a lot of that family story and how it flows through the music and inspires, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with kind of setting the stage for our audience here. What kind of kid were you growing up, and where did music fit into your life early on?
Yeah, I was just reminiscing with a friend about like childhood, and I was a good kid. I was a good kid. I will say that I had the opportunity to grow up in a pretty strict school until like grade 7, and then homeschooled for a large portion of high school and hit high school for a little bit, and then correspondence through grade 12.
Cool.
Sort of the educational history. And I mention that because it really opened the door to play a lot of music. I grew up playing music in church and very grateful for that. And that whole faith has been a huge influence in how I want to release music, how I write music, what type of messaging we have as a band as well. And so that draws back to like growing up playing drums. And then I don't know what it was, but I was like, drums, and let's add guitar, and then piano. And I'm like, well, with guitar, you can already play bass, and no slack to bass players. They can by far do more than I
loves to
can.
slack on the bass players.
So, but like I have just appreciated the gift of music, and it's blessed my life, and it's a huge opportunity to be able to share our story and connect with others. And yeah, there's moments at every show where somebody's coming up and like, hey, I really liked this, or I really liked that, or that story really hits home, and we've gone through this, and it's super cool. It's super cool. That's a bit of the childhood, I guess, just the multiple instruments. And
when did you know you wanted to kind of devote a majority of your time to starting a band and doing this kind of on a bigger scale?
Yeah. I'll say growing up, I grew up in the mainland, lower mainland in BC, and then we moved to northern BC in Fort St. John. And a buddy and I had an acoustic band, competed in a little talent show in town. We were front page on the paper for a little while. That was cool. And that was a bit of the spark of like, hey, you can sing as well, and started to develop sort of that talent and ability, which I joke with our vocalists in our band, like that's my least gifted thing. But I should cut myself some slack at least
100%,
too.
absolutely.
But that was the first spark. And then having kids in my early 20s and sort of raising them, like, did put a bit of that on pause. And unfortunately, my oldest four, they lost their mom a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and that was like fuel on the fire of going, wow, life is short. And I just want to inspire other people, but mostly inspire my kids and leave a legacy where if like something were to happen, they can pull up a song and go like, that's Dad still. Sorry, like.
No, man, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely puts it in perspective, if going through something like that and being able to not only not deal with it, that's a wrong way to say it, work through it with music, but also sharing that with your kids, showing that you're human as well, I think is a big part of that story. That's definitely some big emotions to face, for sure.
Yeah, and so like tour was so healing for my kids and I to drive province to province, and resilience is a big story in our family. When we were out east, we went on a beautiful coal mining tour in Cape Breton, and we could pull up. My grandma lost her dad a week before her wedding, and then walked down the aisle with his funeral flowers as her bouquet. Wow. And I referenced that in our Billy Blake song, and we built sort of the tour around that theme. And so like we pulled his name up on the coal mining history, and like this is the resilience of like things my grandma's faced, and we've seen loss in our family. Unfortunately, we've seen separation as well, and so what that looks like, and some repeating patterns, and going, hey, lots of people do go through this. Let's heal together. Let's write together. Let's share a positive message. So it's like, yes, it's definitely feel good rock, but that's the family story that it's sort of built on.
Well, I think it's very, very brave to kind of put your story on the line and out there. And you're right. A lot of people are affected by loss. And instead of turning inwards, I think turning outwards is a very beautiful thing that you've done. Honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about HEYJACK and how they came together. We'll go back to the Cross Canada tour in a little bit. How did your current band come together, and how does that dynamic kind of thrive and build?
I love my band members. They're like family. I've known some of them for over a decade. We HEYJACK started out, and I'm like, I'll play some acoustic stuff, and like that Jack Johnson feel, definitely that influences there, especially when I do solo acoustic stuff. And it's nice to strip it down and story time, and you get to hear how a lot of the songs are written because they're written at home alone with a guitar and me and my feelings.
And very personal. Right?
Yeah. So then all of a sudden we had a show that required a band, and I called my bass player and I'm like, Mike, I need a band. Here's what I've got. Got a few friends that I can fill in here. He made some calls, and then like fate would have it that Jaden was the guitarist and came in, and musical chemistry, like the bromance is real. So like and after shows, and this is a joke completely, after shows people will come up to me and be like, your guitarist is so good, his tone, all these things, and I'm like, yes he is. Do you know I wrote all the songs? I don't say that. I really don't say that, but like he is just gifted and skilled. And then same with our drummer Kirby. When I play drums for things, now I steal what he does.
Amazing.
Because I'm like, oh, the influence, the way he listens to the way the guitar's moving or the vocal is going to move, and then is still in sync with the bass and knows how to accent on the right things. Very rarely will he have like a bad show either, and then we'll joke about it because it's good humored. But so, sorry, I'm going to backtrack. First, in sort of form of the band, I cycled through this on Sunday with some of my band members too. We've had a few inceptions of HEYJACK based on availability. So like even on our current roster, we still have people that are considered band members that are behind the scene that are going to come in for different shows even this summer.
Awesome.
But we all come from that church background. Like, it's funny because on a Sunday evening or a Sunday morning, you could see 3 or potentially 4 of us or 2 of us on Sunday stage, and
nice.
Like just helping out with the worship team. And so that's really where we connected, and just really I hate to say it, but like farmed my roster from the church.
But do you think that's why kind of your band is cool with maybe missing shows and replacing roster pieces like that? Because that's kind of more what happens in a church band versus like egos in a normal band where people are like, you took my spot. You know?
Yeah, they're so gracious about it. Like a huge shout out to like Andrew and Bailey behind the scenes who will come in and play like bass. Bailey plays a plethora of instruments as well. So this summer he's going to join us for a show and get out and play some guitar. And so that'll be nice. And then Andrew, if Kirby can't make a gig, Andrew steps in on the drum set, and it's
awesome.
It's so appreciative of having those guys. The only one who's like really irreplaceable is Jaden, and so when we strip down to like a trio without him, that I'm like, guitar solo, oh no. And so it's enjoyable, but
I think that's a good message. I think a lot of bands can maybe pull from that, of maybe leaving the ego beside and being there about the music is more the message. I think that's pretty cool. And
I can't, now I will get in trouble because I can't leave out Chloe. She joined us last year singing some background vocals, and then when we play, a lot of the times we'll do like resort shows where we'll play some originals and stuff, but we'll play some like dancing music and fun stuff. And so we throw to her to lead a lot of those songs where we dip into like Dolly or Chris Stapleton or some Miley, Sabrina Carpenter. And I don't know, we like to throw it all around just as long as people can have a good time.
We got to lean into your strengths. You know what I mean? That's definitely something you want to do. Where did the name HEYJACK come from?
Yeah, it is a big acronym for my kids.
Cool.
I got 5 kids in total. The band is older than my youngest, though.
Wow.
And so he didn't make
the
he didn't make the cut. He didn't make the cut. I was like, do we go HEYJACK and the Bow River Band, and then Bowen is his name, and I'm like, then he would be incorporated. But then enough people call me Jack already. And I'm like, it's just gonna make it worse. Yeah. So, and I will answer to it. My oldest son his name is Jackson, and so you can see like how the J works in that. So H is for my daughter Hope. The A-Y or E-Y makes sort of an A sound. So that's for my oldest Abby, and then Jackson is easy, and then Connor fills out the CK sort of sound.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a big acronym just representing the family.
It's an awesome name, and I think it's even better the way he came up with it. I think being the family message, pulling that's ties it all together.
Thank you.
If someone's never been to a Hey Jack show or to one of the, say, your acoustic sets, how would you describe that experience? How would you describe your sound?
I think we're feel good rock and fun. I always go, if someone has never heard of us, I go, if you took John Mayer and Jack Johnson and they had a baby and added a little touch of distortion, we would somewhere be in that ballpark.
Aptly described.
That's sort of where I like to put it,
for sure.
Although lifing, like our next album, we might go a little darker and
have a bit of a different sound.
Yeah, it might be like a Dashboard meets Third Eye Blind. It's still happy and joyful somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And lots of joking around, and that's the way like we write music is just sort of witty, fun, but really honest. I write songs about my kids, and so. Yeah, some of those really resonate with folks, and they're like, I got a teenager like that too. So,
well, let's jump right into kind of your writing process. What comes first for you when you have, say, a song idea? Is it the rhythm or the music of itself? Is it the lyrics? How do you approach that?
It's everything.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So it really is a wide variety. I have a song called Hold On. I was listening to an audiobook, Rick Rubin, and he talks about like emulating artists, etc. Then I'm going to turn left at a stoplight here, or stop sign, or lights, and I have this melody in my head, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. And then so I whip out my phone, distracted driving, don't do it, voice memo it. And you can hear as I'm voice memoing, I go to take the turn, and then some guy's coming through, and I like hit the brakes and curse a little bit, and then keep going through, da 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 da. And so I have that still on my phone as reference sake. So that's one where like the melody and the guitar came first, and then I wrote behind it. Mm-hmm. And then there's other things where like a voice memo, I'll be at work and just driving around removing snow on 4 a.m. morning or something, and in my machine, and all of a sudden a line will come out, and I'm like, ooh, write it into my notes. And then I'll build off of like one line. So there's that process. And then, so sometimes it's definitely like a guitar thing that will sit as a voice memo for a while until lyrics come to it. Other times it's like, hey, here's a line, build something off of this.
Yeah. So there's no set structure to your process.
Nope.
I think that's a cool way to do it. Which Rick Rubin were you listening to on the audiobook?
It was the book that came out about the whole like artist reflection.
Oh yeah, I love that. One of my faves, honestly.
So,
big.
I really enjoyed it. It challenged a lot of things, and like it's obviously stirred up its own controversy on like, does the audience come first or last and all that stuff. But it was a good challenge in why you write music, and if no one heard it, would you still do it? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I would. I write music that's healing for me, and some songs never see the light of day, and some songs are just garbage, and that's why. And so, but the ones that feel right and come out nicely, the band gets to hear those, and when they jam all together, then it works. And some songs actually only make an acoustic set, and the band never plays them. So,
how do you know the difference between, say, a garbage song and something that you feel is a hit?
Sometimes I go back the next day and be like, what was that? Or I'll just read the lyrics and be like, okay, that's not what I really want to say. That's not a HEYJACK brand. And it's almost like an open journal in some ways of going, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. These are the feelings I have. Let me write them down and sort of sing them out. And some songs come so quick. Like Driving for us is a song that people really love live. We love playing it. I like when it comes on my Spotify shuffle selfishly. I still will listen to it. But that's like a 10, 15 minute song that was written. Like I was just sitting there in my room, do, like basic sort of bluesy-ish. And just thinking about going on road trips with the people you love and what that morning routine looks like of like packing up, and a big shout out to Jack Johnson in that song. There's a banana pancake reference. And,
nice.
And what that trip looks like. So some songs come out nice and fast like that, where it's just like, this is what's happening in life. And then usually the garbage ones are the ones you feel like you forced, and you're like, I've been writing this song forever.
Yeah, fair.
So
I think there's something like being locked in. Like again, in Rick Rubin's book, he mentions like when you get those those downloads from the ether or whatever
Yep.
your ideas are when you act on them and you just can't put the pen down or
Yeah.
whatever you used to write. Like I'm same with my notes. I've talked about this on the podcast before. Strangely enough, I think best in the shower when I'm listening to music with no lyrics. It's just like
I can
a
feel
weird,
that.
like,
Yep.
But-
Yeah, the shower, being inspired in the shower is the worst because I'm like, where's my phone? I'm wet.
I've written a few notes like leaning half
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
getting
trying to
in
dry
there
it
for
off.
Sure.
Exactly.
How do you know when a song is finished? It must be easy to just forever tinker.
Yep, it is.
How do you call it quits?
You know what? I think I sort of just get sick of it sometimes.
Fair.
And I'm like, it's time. The best part is Jaden's down at U at Lethbridge taking some education around like audio engineering.
Amazing.
And so we've been we mixed Always on the Move together. Got some cool critiques from some cool people in business about what we could do better with it. And we like that was inspiring. I think sometimes less is more. I want to add so many things and then I'm like, what is going wrong? It's going sideways. And so I think like I was listening to a Charlie Puth thing, and he talks about like take 4, take 5. That's the take, and it's like, yeah, he's really accurate actually. Like when we're tracking something, the first few are warm ups. After that, the right one comes out, and you usually comp off that. So
Fair. That's such a strange. Like it seems like a strange process to me, being that we usually we do our one take
One
and then
take.
Interesting. We've done it once where we had to restart due to a power outage, and I felt so uncomfortable. But I guess music is so different in that it's a little bit more rehearsed.
yeah, and there's like the idea of the terrifying red button. It's like you can play the song, and then you hit record, and it's like I forgot how to play the song.
Fair.
That can happen too when we're recording stuff. I think with a lot of what we're releasing this year, it's finally, I would say, our more authentic sound when you come out to a HEYJACK show. We're getting into the fun stuff. It's really fast for me to try to produce a slower song. It's a little more melodic. We're not tracking as many drums and bass and et cetera.
Yeah, fair.
I don't have to worry about this high energy stuff. And so with those slow songs, I feel like we got them out fast. And then our identity on Spotify was like sort of more like the crooner side of John Mayer, which is great, but we also love the fun songs and the influence of like Mount Joy and Jack Johnson and writing, upbeat life songs.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like those are being released, and we've had the privilege of like playing those live for several years now, where we're in the studio tracking things. We're like,
So polished.
it's polished, it's ready. And so that makes it easier to know when it's ready.
Interesting.
The struggle I have sometimes is when we're in studio mode, then new inspirations come, and I'm like, sort of like split attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to write this down. And then we're pitching new songs, and it's like, oh, let's get this on the album. It fits. And so when to call it quits on the album is probably the harder question for me to answer,
Of course,
rather
yeah.
than when a song is done.
Okay, so how do you call it quits on an album?
I think when I start writing things that are not in the same feel as the current album.
Fair.
So if it starts to hit, Jaden and I had a conversation. We went to a dashboard, we call it a dashboard show. We went to the Goo Goo Dolls concert.
Oh, sick. How was it?
Good. Dashboard opened, and that's like that. We're singing terribly. We can't post any video because it's like, wow, these guys, are you sure they play music
You're in a
for
band.
real? Yeah. So the poor people around
But that's
us.
part of going to a show is singing.
Oh, I love
lungs
when
out
people bring energy, and when they know like the covers that we're playing, which are fairly well known, they sing along, and you see them dancing and clapping to the originals, and I look forward to the day where people sort of know the tunes and start singing your own song back to you. That'll be a big moment.
100%.
Aside from my kids, they all know all the songs, so
You always have a small audience that knows all the words.
planted. As they get older, it gets easier because they don't look like they're out of place. So.
While we're on the topic, what's a moment that you've had on stage throughout your life that you just can't forget?
Yeah. We are playing in Radium again this year at Ridgeview Resorts. We played there last year, and it was a magical night, and I think like it gives me goosebumps talking about it. I grew up going to a resort out in BC, And at dinner time, it'd be formal, and they'd have a band playing, and they'd play like the chicken dance and stuff like that. We don't quite do that. We play some fun songs. But I was watching grandparents dance with their grandkids, and that brought me back to like dancing with my grandma and watching my grandma and grandpa dance together, and just like those really heartfelt moments.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden at the end, we're bringing kids on stage to sing like All Star with us, and
Sweet.
And it was just so much fun and memorable. We are very excited to go back there this year. We got a few shows in Radium in a weekend in July. So,
do you think maybe helping other kids and families make those types of memories really kind of brings that back out of yourself?
Yeah, like it really does. It's the most rewarding thing. At the end, we're like giving away picks and drumsticks. We're like, okay, this is
like
cool.
We can't afford to give these up, but take it all.
Yeah, take them anyways.
That's so good. Let's move on to the cross-country tour.
Yeah.
So you took your kids across almost the entire country while touring. When you look back on that experience, what does that mean to you besides just playing the shows?
It is the best thing I've done in my life.
Cool.
To be able to experience that with my kids, to heal together, to grow together, to like just trust God on a lot of things and be like, we'll see how the next show goes. We'll see how much we get paid. We'll see what we sell in merch and tips and all that. And like, we had a lot of friends and family who were really supportive and reaching out and be like, if you need something, let me know. But no, it was just that experience to be able to connect with them. There's so many memories from different provinces, whether it be roller coasters at Wonderland, where like my oldest bugs me because she's like, Dad, you're more nervous than I was. And I was like, yeah, I am, but I'm going with you anyways. So I think about things like that. I think about as we passed through Quebec City, we stopped there and we're like, hey, we're going to take a few hours. We're going to get, and it's going to blank on me, those little like French pastry-ish covered shiny things that you eat.
Macaroons?
Whatever. Macaroons.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I could describe it at least. We grabbed macaroons, walked up to like the fort, or the hotel, pardon me, and like looked over the river and ate macaroons together at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And grabbed a coffee and saw a few things and then continued on into New Brunswick. And after a show in Nova Scotia, we drove over to Peggy's Cove and I walked out onto the rocks at 2 a.m. and watched a full moon and a full set of stars and just the lighthouse by myself. And I was like, I got it tattooed afterwards, but that was magical. And so I think about those moments with my kids. I think about being on PEI, and there's a beautiful farm that has like just free range animals, and the host is so nice, and she's just like, I'm watching my kids with these animals, and we're like on the East Coast. We mentioned being in Nova Scotia. My kids can't resist swimming when there's a beach nearby. So it's October, Atlantic Ocean. They're still in the ocean.
Wild.
And so like, and the dad in me is like, I won't miss out. So yeah, I grabbed my swim shorts too, and I'm in the ocean, and like just those memories of like coal-filled sandy beach. So it's like some black rock in there, and like seeing the waves crash over it. And the locals are like, you went to the garbage beach, and we're like, it was still magical.
It was sick.
It's all about who you're with. And so that journey was so healing. But being able to just play shows all across Canada, meeting beautiful people, staying at places like the Covered Bridge Inn, who just hosted us so well. And there was nights where I'm like, I don't have a hotel plan. And I'd call Sally and be like, Sally, can we come back? She'd be like, yeah, come on in. So huge shout out to them. And it was so memorable going out and see. I feel like we hit the Monopoly board of Canada for what we could see, like Niagara Falls, Hopewell Rocks, like Peggy's Cove, PEI. We just never saw any icebergs or anything and went to Newfoundland. Now we just need to get up north.
Honestly, such a fun journey to take your kids on. Where did you get the idea that that's something that you wanted to do? Did you just spring out of nowhere, or is this something that you've had in your mind? I've
known since finding out my grandma's from Nova Scotia that I wanted to go there. And I just the previous year, so 2024, we did a mini tour through BC. And it was like, okay, it was eye-opening of like going on tour is the best and the worst all at the same time.
How so?
Because like the highs are great, and then like your car breaks down. You're like, oh man, gotta replace my alternator in Vanderhoof at the A&W. And thankfully, like mechanically inclined enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that was such a rite of passage that there was joy in like the breakdowns too.
You have a story to tell. You have a song to write. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly, right?
It's
And so I think about those things, and then on that tour, it was like, I could do this across Canada. And all of a sudden, lifing, my partner at the time and I had separated at a sort of early midway of last year. And so I was like, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do something memorable. Let's do something for us. Let's heal and enjoy a journey. It wasn't running away in any way, but it was definitely running to something. And we learned about our heritage. My great-grandfather who passed away in the mines, it's his indigenous Inuit background that sort of like ties into of like how he was in Newfoundland and came down to Nova Scotia and then building that life and having as many kids as he did and living in like, I saw my grandma's house that they lived in growing up. And like, so just seeing all like knowing what his life looked like a little bit was so cool. And then knowing what my grandma's life, who I was super close with, looked like a little bit. And then being able to like bring my parents into that story and like FaceTime my mom and be like, hey, look at this stuff.
Look where we're at.
And then knowing like my kids have seen that. And they talk about it to this day. Like I get emotional about it all the time. Like I can't talk about it without it welling up like the best of feelings in being a musician, and to open the door to do that, like just starts it off an idea. And I think there's a question about young musicians, not to spoiler alert, but I think the biggest thing is like, if you have a dream, there is a logical way to do it. Just because someone in your family or circle hasn't done it doesn't mean it's not possible. Be smart. Like, thankfully I have 4 kids because they slow me down to go like, okay, I've really got to like logistically plan this. We had hotels that gifted us nights on tour for like Instagram posts sharing with them.
Amazing.
Or like gave us discounts and like, and the bars who paid us enough to get from point A to point B. Like,
that's great.
It was so cool to watch it all unfold, but it just starts with a lot of like action and going, hey, this, if you think it's accomplishable, it probably is. Just like backtrack it and figure out what the steps are, and don't quit. Like, I don't think I've ever wanted to quit, but like there's definitely slow seasons where it's hard to do the administrative part or social media game, and just going, okay, don't quit at it in any way. Just always make small progress. And so,
a small step forward is better than a big step backward.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'm really glad you brought that up, honestly, because when we spent some time hanging out at the Canmore Folk Fest, you were talking to me about why you wanted to bring your kids on this trip, because I think you were still planning it and you knew you were going, but you were kind of figuring out the details at the time. And it just, a big thing that spoke to me was you told me that you wanted to teach your kids that if you wanted to accomplish something, to go and do it.
yeah.
Has accomplishing your goal, has that changed your like outlook on fatherhood, or I don't know, how does that make you feel?
Oh man, like it just that's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, that stayed with me since we hung out. Like way back then, man. I thought
love
that
it.
was super cool.
It is, and it's just like, what next is, and it's not a lack of like feeling good enough about driving across Canada, because I tell my friends about it and they're like, you did what with your kids? Like, you sometimes stayed in the car overnight? How many days were you together? Like, some people look at me like I'm crazy, but I love my kids. I love being a dad.
Yeah.
It is the nearest and dearest thing to me. And so to like, it's my job to be the example and to lead the family that way. And my kids are mine for the temporary time being. Like, as I watch my oldest grow up, one day she's going to move out. And like, she already lives a lot of her own independency, and it's beautiful to watch unfold. But they're just a temporary gift of my ability to nurture them right now, and soon they're going to grow out. And I look forward to when they come back to the house and they're like, remember the time we did that? Or I think we joke about like, last summer at Whoop Up Days, they're so gracious, and they gave us like an air-conditioned trailer, and my kids are backstage and like drinking free pops and stuff. And I'm like,
Rockstar life.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's pinch me moment for me.
For sure.
But for them, they're just like bored out of their mind. I'm like, what? If I was a kid, I would have been like, whoa, Dad, this is so cool. Small, like, humble brag. I grew up diving competitively, so I can do like backflips on the ground. And so my band's like, you should do one on stage. But my kids are also like so over the backflip thing. Like nothing I do as a dad will ever be cool.
That's wild.
There is some acceptance of that. But I think when they grow up and maybe get to my age, they'll be like, whoa, Dad was cool. And Dad was there for us. And instead of touring across Canada alone, he brought us with him, and we had memories. And like they learned more about Canada by experiencing it than they would within, their classroom.
That's very well put. Well, again, like, what do you hope they remember most about that experience?
Yeah, it comes back to what you said, like just that they could do something like that. If they have a dream, I want to be able to support that. None of them, they play band instruments within school, but outside of that, like, they're not looking to get into music at this point, which is okay. And like, what are their dreams and how can I support those? And what do those look like? And then can I take my experience from trying to live out my dream and, do this, don't do that, and just try to give some wisdom when they're accepting of it. So, yeah.
Well, I think they got a pretty good role model when it comes to going after your dreams. That's for sure.
Thanks, man. There's some things this summer we're going to have announced soon that like pinch me moment from the skateboarding kid of sweet. We're going to share an event with this band.
Nice.
So
I can't wait to hear about it. What does success mean to you now and moving forward in your life?
Yeah, I think success some ways is always like a moving target where you're redefining what it looks like. And so there's like band success. We're like, yeah, we want national radio play. We would love to go on an opening spot with another band and hit all of Canada again. We'd love to get more festival plays and spots than we currently have. But then also being grateful to go like, okay, like look at the things you've done.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a journey, and when I listen to podcasts of other artists and their stories and biographies, you know it's a journey. And then they're all like, watch out that you're not just chasing, and you learn to be in the moment with it. And so like success is the fact we got to drive across Canada and experience everything that Canada had to offer in so many ways. My kids still talk about like eating poutine in Montreal and like driving on the F1 track and so like just those memories, that's successful. Mm-hmm. And there's still a drive and a dream to go like, yeah, I want to share bigger stages. I do want to headline things. I have our band headline things. I want national radio play. I want it where you walk into a grocery store and we could be on the HEYJACK, like HEYJACK could be on the mix because we do fit in that quite well.
100%.
So
I think it's a very good point that you make of constantly moving those goalposts, right? Like, I don't know, in my own life, there's no hurdle that's too big, and every time I get to that big hurdle, I'm just looking for the next one,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not that each success and like mountain you climb is you can't have like no satisfaction in it. You have to be in the moment and be like, well, like I humble brag on you guys. It's like I was saying, I'm going on a podcast. We're like episode 113. Like, how many podcasts make it past like episode 5?
A lot fizzle out.
Statistically, or whatever. I don't know what the stats are, so obviously. But that's a kudos to you guys, too. And
thanks, man.
And that's a lot of just driving like, hey, we're going to show up every Tuesday, and we're going to do this again. So same thing with our band. I
think it's a matter of, like we said earlier, baby steps amount to huge steps when you put them all together, And I wake up every day, and I'm like, if I can just do one thing to advance my goals today, that's kind of where I'm at, And not too many days go by where I'm not thinking about it, working on it. And I don't know, if you love something,
Makes it easy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work. Like
It
showing up
doesn't.
today, setting up and having a chat with, like reconnecting with you is not,
This
doesn't seem like work to me.
This is a holiday for me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, what advice would you give young artists out there? Maybe something you wish you knew before you started, especially your like foray into touring and being in a band more seriously.
Yeah. Be willing to be like vulnerable with yourself in your writing experience. Don't try to like sugarcoat things and hide it behind 20,000 metaphors. Sometimes more direct is more relatable. Even if it has a bit of the cheese factor, just listen to some pop lyrics once in a while and be like, what?
It's so like some of it does make sense.
Yep.
Some of it's corny.
Yep.
Yeah, I think follow your heart.
That has a big part to do it. Like right with who you are. Don't chase like an artist's sound and be like, that's hot right now. I want to sound like, no, just how do you sound? That's the gift you've got. Take it or leave it.
How's your relationship
work on it.
with outside influences? So say you're working on a project
Yeah.
and you show someone your first draft or your first, rendition of a song, and they give your opinion on it. How much does that impact your final product?
Not much.
Okay, cool. No, because that's like a lot. Like a lot of artists are faced with that.
Yeah.
Like they don't think what they're producing is good, or they take outside influences for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like an outside influence when we're mixing, for sure, to be like, hey, the bass is too loud. Or sometimes, like, we have a very vocal forward mix a lot of the time, and we're learning how to mix the vocal back in to make it sound more cohesive with the full mix. And we get better with every song, which is fun. And then I'm like, it's painful because you're like, I wish I knew that for that song.
For sure.
And then I go back and I did it once and I listened to like Ed Sheeran's first stuff and I'm like, wow, this ain't great. Or I listen to even albums I love now and I'm like, oh, that's a weird way to do that. Or like, that's really obnoxious. But I still loved the song anyways. And so that gives me a lot of grace with myself when we release music. And that helps know when a song is done to be like, it's just done. And one day maybe we'll go back and re-record it with all the things we know, and maybe one day we won't. Like,
Fair enough.
Who knows?
So I guess you got a pretty good relationship with leaving a project in the past. Like I think you have to move on to newer things.
Yeah, you do. And there's like, I even think about it with love songs we sing on stage now. I'm like, as a single dad, it's interesting to be like, some of the references, and it's now like cheeky, funny humor between the band and I about some of the lyrics, etc. But then it also like propels me to go like it's a lot of fun work just having and being willing to be just in the experience together and life, whether it's up or down, and go, hey, we're gonna have a good time anyways. Sorry, I probably sidetracked. What was the question?
No,
It's
that's
more-
all right. I don't even. This was just kind of free balling. We're off track anyways.
Yeah. Could have been to young musicians. Yeah, I would just say like, don't give up, don't quit, enjoy the moments, definitely. Like, and set reasonable expectations. Like,
Good point.
I do want to headline things and be on festival bills with bands I love to this day. And to go on like a tour or support some of them would be a huge dream that I am working towards, and we are working towards as a band. And I also think like for that young artist, it's not going to happen next year. Like, don't be naive about it.
Yeah.
Like, know you have to craft a skill. As young as I look, I've put some time in. I've put some time in and lived a life and had life deal me things, and some of those were self-imposed, like, and all that comes out to just start writing it down, be honest about it, craft your musical skills that support it, and then your stage talk. I also think about that too. Like, I have pet peeves of when between every song, this next song is written about. Song finishes.
Are you for it or against
This next
it?
song, I hate it.
You hate it?
Hate it so much. When it's acoustic, there's a better way to storytell. Ace and Abby's a great storyteller. Huge shout out to him. And I just think the way he tells a story is way more interesting than this time I wrote this song.
Telling the story through the music rather than having to kind of caption your song. With an
Just be
explanation.
bold enough to be. So I tell a story, and this is going to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, and I'm not trying to be like humble with it. I tell a story about my soon to be 16-year-old. there's a song we play, and people love it when we play it. We're in recording process of it, so it'll be out this year. It's called What I Know. She's 16 years old, basically, walks around the house, and when you're talking to her, she, one, isn't paying attention, so the first thing out of her mouth is what? And then, obviously, as a 16-year-old daughter, or kid in general, the next thing is, I know. Like, she knows all the answers to life. So we wrote, like, a really cheeky song about it. And rather than saying, this next song is written about, it's just, you know, as a dad, as a teenager, be bold enough to just go into the story. You don't have to set it. That's what I mean by that. Like,
fair.
You don't have to do that tagline. And as a band, the other thing, like, we love transitions. So, like, most of us do. My drummer Kirby's like, by the 6th song, I'm tired, Adam. We love to move from song to song, so not every song needs a story before it. Let the song speak on its own and tell the story.
Yes, great point.
So those are my young artist
Your song
tips.
should tell the story,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, and if it doesn't, you should write it better.
I love it.
Don't be afraid to rewrite something. Like, if it's garbage, but the music's good, great. If it's good lyrics, but the music's garbage, well, figure out how you can work that into another song. That's happened plenty of times, so...
Some great advice, for sure. You're working on a full-length album now with Hey Jack. What can the audience expect? We touched on it a little bit earlier, maybe some newer themes being...
Our more truer sound with what we're about to release, for sure, in the feel-good rock. So it has a lot of that, like, get outside, connect with other people, connect with nature, disconnect from your phone.
Yes.
You know, like... just be a good human. Some of that music is coming out now.
Yeah.
Straight in time for the summer. I wrote a song that I shouldn't say this, but I will because it's like prompting myself to just release it.
Love it.
I wrote a song called Hot Dad Summer.
Yes, let's go.
And that one, like, I think that might have to come out, and that might be like the last song on that sort of thing. And then new stuff for a second follow-up album or EP is sort of already in the works, and that probably has some more of like the what it's like to be a single dad stories, et cetera, on it, and a bit more of the heartache and that feel. But I think this album we're releasing, once it's a body of work all put together, definitely is just like feel good rock.
Nice.
Has a good live feel. We love playing it live. Recording a live album would be the best. So,
well, yeah, recording live, I mean, it has its own issues, but
yeah,
of course.
We like to be live.
Yeah, live is always great. With your drive, I don't think there's anything that's going to be stopping you.
Thanks, man.
What's a goal that you haven't achieved yet that really matters for you moving forward?
Oh, I'm gonna put some festivals on the spot.
Let's go.
We would love to come out and play the main Canmore Folk Fest. I love the crew that works there. They do an amazing job selecting artists every year, so it is no slouch to anybody who's ever selected. Like, I love the lineups. I'd love to play that. Love to play like Calgary Folk Fest. There's things like big things like Red Rocks to get down to.
Yeah.
Would just be like monumental. Yeah, I think about like a lot of the festival circuits, but then like the next stage for us is really, I would love next summer to be on a nice good tour run as a full band.
Sweet.
And into that. So like some short-term, long-term ideas to where I think we're going. But a lot it has to do with like we need to really get out where we're at sound-wise into the internet sphere.
For sure.
So,
and we hope to help you with that. As you're releasing projects, please continue to let me know. We'd love to get them out there to our audience as well, because it's feel-good rock. I love it. It puts a little kick in your step when you're walking out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all like that.
I appreciate that.
Well, making people feel good makes you feel good, right?
That is true.
That's
like,
why we try to keep everything kind of on a positive note as well. There's so much fear-mongering and so much negativity out in media specifically that, you know, we feel we have a responsibility to keep things a little bit
Go
better.
actually help somebody. Like, is it going to hurt you to smile walking down the street? Like, I love smiling at people, and they're like, what's wrong with this guy?
Honestly,
like,
that's a big part of why I love living here in Banff in the Bow Valley is you'll find a lot of people are smiling walking down the road. You don't look crazy walking down the street with a smile on your face, you know?
and then shout out to the folks on the East Coast. Oh, they're like so lovely and
Oh, yeah, it's a different
like,
kind of hospitality.
I
Yeah.
know. And the food, like.
Have you ever seen that Instagram lady? I'm sorry, I forget her handle right now, but she's an East Coaster, and she calls other East Coasters randomly, but just ask them questions to kind of see how long they'll talk. And it's
Yeah.
like,
They'll just go.
So what do you have for dinner?
Yeah.
They just like,
Doesn't
everyone's
matter.
just super keen to share and have a nice talk.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those scroll through.
I love it.
It is funny, but it is that way. Like, they were the best of people.
Love it. If someone out there is listening, which I hope they are, and wants to go check out your music and does for the first time, what would you hope stays with them long after they're done listening to your music?
I hope the songs are stuck in your head and you want to come back and listen again. That helps us immensely. But in addition to that, like, that's the selfish angle. Mm-hmm. From an unselfish, like, the music was written at different points in my life, and different people are at different points in their life. And so if there's a song that resonates with you, I'm happy for you. Like, that is the biggest joy as an artist. Yeah, without the selfish ask to, like, share it, please.
Yeah, for sure,
like,
dude. I get
please,
that.
sir, can I have some more?
Please
Like,
give me more likes and subscribe, sir.
stream me for my third of a penny or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but yeah, that's the biggest thing, is the music is just written at points in my life, and if it connects with you and brings you joy in different ways or makes you feel something, that's the goal.
Right on, man. Very well said. Where can people access your music? How can people get your merch? How can they support you?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, all the things, whether you like them or hate them, we're there anyways.
Yeah, fair.
And so we also have a website, heyjackmusic.ca. You can find out information on there. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. Instagram's heyjack_music. Same with, like, TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere we're supposed to be. So, and I'm trying to keep up with it all.
Yo, it's crazy.
So,
I met a TikTok streamer at my job the other day, and he was live streaming his meal, and he was like, we're kind of getting into the strange space that TikTok is, and he's like, yeah, man, the live streaming, like, it's crazy. Like, I have subs and people follow and they give me money. I'm like, this is nuts. I just haven't explored that. But I did watch a new documentary exploring the streaming world, the Manosphere one. Have you seen that one?
no.
Louis Theroux's back with a Netflix banger,
Okay, I'm going to have to pull this up. This is probably my evening watching.
exploring the more negative side of the Manosphere and streaming and social media. So, being men, we're obviously, it's going to come up on your algorithm now that we talked about it, for sure.
Yeah, here we go.
But yeah, just trying not to be that. But streaming is just a whole nother realm. I couldn't imagine just giving people access to my life like that.
Yeah.
Kind of such an unfiltered way. It's crazy.
I don't know. I'm glad you say that, because I think as the musician type, you're like, this is just what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of that where it's nice to hear the other perspective, because I guess it is like, here's my journal, everybody.
Right?
So,
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that brings me to our next point. Thank you for chatting with me and being so vulnerable. I mean,
anytime.
Not gonna lie, I didn't expect. We went up and down.
Up and down.
This
It's
conversation.
happy and sad. It's like a Hey Jack show, to be honest.
Oh, it's perfect.
We tell you sad moments, we tell you happy moments. But we just want you to dance, have a good time.
I love it, Adam. Honestly, you're an inspiration to myself, and hopefully to more people out there once they connect with your music. It's great stuff, especially if you like feeling good and maybe stomping your feet a little bit. You know.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our new segment. You didn't hear it from us. Brought to you by our newest partners, Defending Awesome, which are awesome, doing our merch. You can find that on our website, overheardpodbanff.com. If you want to support us, you can always cop some merch there. We never ask for any money. We don't ask for donations. That's how you do it. You get cool merch to rock around town. Now, what we're talking about this week is the Silvertip Gondola. Have you heard about this project?
Only when I got in here. But listening to the Overheard pod while we drove across Canada, I learned all about Banff politics and taxis and land zoning. Like, you guys are all over the map in the best of ways. So
Thank you so much. We try to dip our toes in. Of course, we're not experts, but we try to bring on the experts to talk about it. We're going to be exploring the Silvertip Gondola proposal. Now, that, as well as the glamping, which we've mentioned before, are part of these projects that are being moved quickly through, or they're trying to be moved quickly through. Obviously, the UCP being a party that is not down with regulations, or less down. I think they like speeding things through, which is kind of their MO. But the whole Silvertip Gondola project itself revolves around rezoning wildlife space that's already been protected as part of the guise of this provincial resort land use plan, which is kind of insane because it's meant to revitalize places that are underdeveloped to attract more tourists to them, which we already got tourism on lock in the Bow Valley. But we're actually going to be filming a piece later today giving you more direct information from the source on what's happening there because we need public engagement. There is some coming up. Stay tuned. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe, follow along. We're going to be giving you the real information on this project as it develops because it's moving quite rapidly. So, yeah, join along. Tune in because I don't think we need any more gondolas. How many more gondolas do we need, you know?
Canada's the Oprah of gondolas.
It's crazy.
You need a gondola. You need a gondola.
Yeah, right? Anyways, stay tuned. Plenty more of that coming your way. See our Overheard merch? Sorry.
I was going to say on the glamping thing, I was like, can't we just get back to tents?
Dude.
Like, sleep outside.
That's what I mean.
Good
I'm a
for
tent
you.
camper.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Sorry.
fantastic.
Digress.
Sleep in the mud, get a little dirty, you know what I mean? But yeah, big shout out to Defending Awesome, our newest partner. They do way more than just our merch. They're a full print shop. So they do design. I know they've designed like graphic stuff for ads for our previous guests on Hang Time Thrift. They do tons of stuff. So anything graphic design, print wise, go give them a shout. Go talk to Jim and the squad. They're awesome. And they're just a good hang. We got our stickers there. We get tons of stuff made there. So go and give them a shout out. That's all we got for today. Thanks so much, Adam, for taking the time to chat, man.
Anytime.
This has been great.
If we ever want to do it again, just
100%.
We'll recap, give it some space to breathe, let us tick some boxes on our checklist.
Absolutely.
And we'll circle back and we'll have a real good story and go, whoa, look how far we've come together.
I love it. I love it. Honestly, we've done that a few times, and we'd love to do it with the whole band as well. So
Yeah, maybe we'll come play something live one day.
yeah.
Really live.
I'd be down. I'd be down for sure. Well, thanks so much to our sponsors. Once again, Drink Shaft Defending Awesome for making this episode possible. If it is your first time joining us, if you've made it this far, please give us a like, subscribe. Once again, we hate asking for it, but hey,
Click the button.
Click the button. Costs you nothing, helps us tremendously.
Click the share.
That's it.
Do the things. That's so easy and free.
Yeah. Comments are huge too. Like people comment everywhere but YouTube. So if you're listening on YouTube, even if it's a negative one, just give us a comment.
Or click.
Yeah.
Who sits at a computer?
Right? Thanks so much for joining us. That's all we have for today. And like every week, we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Peace.